Student was stabbed in the bathroom by another student on campus. So joining me in studio now to tell us about the challenges faced by UNAM students when it comes to their safety is the president of the Student Representative Council, Vincent Shimutukweni. Mr. Vincent, very good morning and welcome.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having me very early in the morning.
Very early in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Vincent, a very serious topic, a lot to discuss regarding this issue. But let's first of all start by talking about the challenges that are faced by students in terms of their safety on campus.
Yes, thank you for that. When we talk about the challenges students are faced with in regards to safety, they range from various factors. Obviously, we talk about the campus itself and the security on campus, especially for those the students who reside on campus, in the hostels and whatnot. We've seen, as we've mentioned, the incident now occurred from hostel students who left the campus and entered the vicinity when they were returning. So we talk about the security companies which are insured to protect and oversee the safety of students. I don't know whether it's the current company that is not doing an adequate job as per tender, as per mandate, which was instilled or offered by the university. That is obviously one point. Obviously, the university itself also, we need to put some blame on the university for not taking due regard to that fact and speeding up security concerns as they were brought even 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now you mentioned that it could be, like, let's talk about the security company now. Do you think that having to replace the security company is going to change? And like you just said, prior to this recent event, there has been numerous complaints. So why is like the complaints fell on deaf ears?
Yes, we don't say, yes, like they fell on deaf ears, you could say that. Because when I say the security company, we'll take an example for the taxi ranks of our university. I don't know if you've been there before.
Yes.
The securities literally harass students as they are leaving campus or entering. And there is, not the security, sorry, the taxi drivers.
Yeah.
And there are securities just by the taxi rank. And the securities allow this to happen, you see. So that's why I say, regardless of us bringing forth these complaints to university campus control and the security company, we don't see changes. So that's why I say partially to blame is also the security company. And it's quite funny because this current security company, Shilemela, I normally hear them being advertised on radio, and they speak in Oshiwambo, they say, Shilemela, repent, do not bombard, meaning they are up and on the ground, they have helicopters, but we've never seen this at the university. So I don't know if those services are only provided at other areas and not university.
Let's talk about the surrounding bushes at the university. Who is responsible for the clearing of that, for instance, which seems to be the hideout for these criminals?
Yes, we've actually just had a conversation about that with one inspector yesterday. That would be the city of Windhoek, actually. So, but we understand also, UNAM must take responsibility also, because most of the land that surrounds the university is UNAM's land, which is unserviced land. So we also need to prioritize in terms of securing that land. In terms of the city of Windhoek, we need to call now for regular debushing of these areas. Obviously, we can't just have a once of debushing. When the rainy season comes, it's going to grow again. So I think we need to have regular intervals of debushing. We can involve the community sometimes. Yeah.
Mr. Vincent, you keep saying that UNAM must take responsibility. Who at UNAM is it that should be taking responsibility?
Yeah, obviously, when we talk about UNAM, we talk about management, we talk about the security department. We're not saying responsibility in terms of liability, in terms of legal. No, we're saying it's time to act actually now and deal with these issues that have been long burning and finally intervene for the sake of the students. Yeah.
Has any students raised any other complaints with regards to their safety, and what are the measures that were taken with regards to these complaints?
Yes, generally there are issues that always are raised. For example, even a few weeks ago, there was a student who was robbed by the ATM machines. There's a general violence on campus. I have seen a strand that the university itself has taken. They've now put up these CCTV cameras all over campus. That's maybe one step that has assisted a bit, because now there are people who are viewing and monitoring the campus full time. But we still believe that there is more to be done in terms of regular campus patrols, in terms of more supervision by the security department itself.
Mr. Vincent, you're not based on campus, are you?
I am actually.
You are in the hostel?
Yes, yes.
Is it? So we go back to security. Do you think securities, from what you've observed, do you think that they regularly monitor grounds? You know, that there's continual communication with students? Would you say that something like that might be happening?
They are regularly on the ground, but you see what happens also. Securities tend to we're not saying the students also commit crime themselves, but the current securities, they tend to create bonds and friendships with certain students and certain people, and this also allows for crime, because as even the regulations are there to say on campus, after 10, cars aren't allowed in, visitors aren't allowed, but these certain securities who develop friendships and so on allow for certain transgressions to take place, which can lead to serious crime within the campus. Yeah.
You mentioned some of this. One of your suggestions that you mentioned was CCTV, which is a step forward to combating this. What other suggestions do you have for us, Mr. Vincent?
In light of the recent activities, this tragic event that happened at our campus, we sat with the inspector, one of the inspectors yesterday, and chief commanders at the police. What we have then decided to do is obviously increase the already measures that are there, the neighborhood watch, but we also felt that we need police of the Namibian police force itself on the campus. So we are then moving into bringing a station on the campus, which will have regular police officers coming 3 times a week, and also the normal functions of police activities will be carried out from there, which is whether it's certifying of documents, making case reports, and so on. Further, we're also bringing the student patrols on campus, the same way we have neighborhood watch, the same way we have farmers watch, musicians watch. So we're also bringing the students watch, where because we understand that some of the crimes committed on campus, they actually, amongst us as students ourselves, we know who's doing this. We know this certain student ABC involves themselves in dubious activities which can lead to crime. So we want to involve the students also in fighting crime. That's why we want to start the student patrol, in which students will then join the NAMPOL in assisting in tackling crime on campus.
You mentioned the police station on campus.
Yes,
has that been put on paper? Has it been presented?
Yes.
And how long do you think this actually might take for it to perhaps be implemented?
In fact, we must also take a bit of liability, not myself personally, but as a university, because the Namibian police had approached the university at the beginning of this year with the full proposal of the campus, the station on campus and all that, but it seemed reluctancy was there. So we sat again with the police just yesterday, and we are ready to start as in tomorrow, today, as soon as we finalize the document. In fact, we're actually returning to the police station this morning.
Okay. I want to ask you for what advice you have for students, you know, like maybe moving together in groups, maybe not walking at a specific time at night, you know. But then, for instance, let's say the area where the students were on their way to Baines, but that route, there's only one route to that shop, isn't it?
Definitely. I just forgot to mention that when we talk about safety at UNAM, we need to take cognizance of the fact that we're talking about all 12 campuses, not only the main campus.
Right.
And I would make a mistake if I didn't mention that. For example, the School of Medicine also, I know the SRC has been complaining to management that they need a taxi rank, because what happens is they always have to walk down the bridge to catch a taxi, and students are always robbed at knife point and whatnot. On the campus itself, main campus, it's a very populated campus. We're talking about 10,000 students. That is like bringing 100 villages from the north together. So obviously if there's no order amongst us ourselves also, there will be chaos and whatnot. So obviously we ask students also to conduct themselves in an orderly manner. I mean, the regulations that are there, when we say no trespassers after 10, let's abide to those. But we also say take care of yourself in terms of when we say you stay on campus, in terms of knowing which time is safe to leave campus, knowing which time is safe to walk from is it Academia Shopping Center to campus and whatnot. So I think as much as we're saying the police, we're bringing them on board to assist us, we also need to assist each other. As we say, crime is committed by members of the community, police officers are members of the community, victims of members of the community. So I think we need an integrated approach to eradicating crime as a whole on campus.
As a whole, yeah. Mr. Vincent,